Siviwe property tour usis enhle lona umphambi kwenu, and njengoba ningazi, I'm the lady that thinks all things are property. So siye sihambe kwezinye insuku sivakashela imizi and do property tour, trying to expose ubuhle bezwe, trying to expose ubuhle be real estate, because thina we all about property. Thina siyilaba abathanda property, and we encouraging you ukuthi nani ni invest in property. So we did a little bit of the research and we did a slide presentation ukuze enene nani ngishare le information engiyitholile. So we'll go through our slides way too. So it says begin your journey with the real estate. So begin your journey with me if you want. Follow me on our YouTube channel. You subscribe, you like, you comment. So silandeleni ke, so sizokwazi ukuthi siqhubeke sikhule i-channel yethu, and ningasfonela futhi anything nje enibona ukuthi ningakwazi ukusireach kuyona ngayo, you can do that. We are also on the TikTok, we're on Facebook, so nje reachable. Anyway, let's go through our slides. Okay, it goes as follows. It says, what is the real estate? I will read it out loud for you so that Nani to understand what is it. It says the real estate defined as the land and any permanent structure like a building, home, and improvement attached to the land, whether it's natural or it is man-made. So yona ke real estate layer. So I like the even term by babies it's a real estate, because it is something that is real. It is something that you can see with your eyes. It is something that is touchable. So anyway, akufani njengalawa amanye ama-investment bathi faka imali uzobona ezokhula ini. Angijudge lutho njalo. I'm just being an advocate for the real estate, ukuthi imali yakho uyifaka la ozobona khona, bathi faka imali uzobona. So anyway, that is a real estate. So it doesn't talk about the building or the house only. It talks about the land, it talks about the home, it talks about commercial areas, it talks about the hotels, whatever. Because in real estate or in umhlaba or in property, it's one of the most important investment that you can think of. Because if we cabanga lento deeper, whoever that owns a business, we own a business yakhe, we own some form of a property. It's either usebenzisa a commercial property, it's either usebenzisa whatever building that you can think of, it is a property. That is what a property. A hospital, it is in a property. Yonke into nje, ama-surveyors, everything. So I can go on and on till it's boring, trying to explain what is a property. But I know you guys, you're smart enough to understand what is a property. So anyway, it says here, slide number 2, who needs to invest with property, or who needs to invest in the real estate. So, my points and they're quite intelligent and quite something that you can just think of and be like, oh my God, only if I realized earlier, I would have invested in property long time ago. Because here it says, anyone who wants to change their life for the better. Who doesn't want to change for the better? I, for one, really, I need to change my life for the better. And it says, point number 2, those who are tired of living an ordinary life. We as most of our people, we have a routine life where we wake up in the morning, we go to work, siyakhuluma emsebenzini, siyenza abangani, siyenza ama-enemies, kumnandi, umgqibelo, siyahamba, siya-offer, siye kumnandini, nje kuyaphila kanjalo nje i-cycle Monday uyashaya, same 9 to 5 job. So if you want to change that, if you dive into a property, you can change your life and have a life that doesn't even have a routine. Have a life la ozovuka khona noma ingasikhatsini, and then you do your own things, because there are a lot of ways onga investa ngayo property. So please, if you're tired of living an ordinary life, you can join in with property. And it says anyone who wants to participate in the economic growth. So njengoba sazi sila in South Africa, we cannot hide away from the fact that our economic growth is going very low. As Niazi, our rand is going down, is selling over 19 rand compared to the US dollars. Zonke nje lezo zinto zikhombisa ukuthi umnotho wethu is going down. And if you see bigger now, the property world, the interest rates are going up. So njengamanje interest rates ayakhuphuka. So if you want to investigate with property, you can increase our economic growth by building a nice estate or building whatever land that you can think of, and then that might attract our international buyers to come and invest with country. So the little that you can contribute, it can make a huge difference, and especially if you involve other parties. You know, party one you can do it, but as many sister again, we can even build a tower. So if you want to change our economic growth, please participate in property, because as I've just mentioned, a property or a real estate is one of the highest investment thing ongayenza la emhlabeni. So you can do that. And it says that anyone who just wants a place called home. So as funny, they want to increase on their economic growth, superheroes. Well done to you. I also want to be a superwoman one day and singishinje isimo sase South Africa. But they just need a place called home. A place called home where your comfort is, where also feel comfortable, where also zizwa usekhaya. So you can just buy that home. It's not mainly by buying only, because even but automatically with the interest rates, with the a house is standing a chance to increase by 10% every year. Did you know that? So and just have a place called home. Still we are investor, but it's just that aware what we are investor. But investing in property or buying a property, it is an investment, whether you use it for business purposes or you use it as indawo yokuhlala. And the last point, it says, for anyone who don't want to appear in a show called Cookie Tila, well, I am assuming this Leo show bayalo bayabanga benza zonke izinto imizi babangifa bekwela gogo bawashiyela bani in well, angibajaji bonke laba bavela kuleo show because nabo izimo ezibabeke lapho. But if you can prevent that, if when nje kuzothi kuyabangwa kini kubangwa amafa kubangwa imuzi uvela uthi wena no, it's fine, umuzi ungathathwa yinombani lo ekufanele ngabe uyawuthatha, because wena uzokwazi ukuthi unewo wakho awubangisi umuntu lutho unezinto nje zakho. So please ke unga investor still with property. So let's go on to the next slide. Okay, what are the requirements? Nakuge usuyenzile decision, you want to change your life, you want to invest, you want to be a superhero, uvele nawe ungaveli nawe kwishow ekuthiwa kukithi la udinganiki. So anyway, la ubhaliwe or sibhalile ukuthi you do need your ID document, ipasi udinga umazisi, like any other sikweletu ozosivula uzoyidinga umazisi wakho or i-passport, and you need your merit certificate if applicable. So yeah, if applicable, you do need your merit certificate, because and your level of income. So if you are self-employed, you might not have a pay slip, but you do have a level of income, like from your bookkeeper or your accountant or whoever that is doing your bookings for your business. So you do need a level of income. It needs to be visible. And proof of address, proof of address if you're opening an account or if any kind of iskweleti, they do need a proof of address. So that is very, very important. And the pay slip. So a pay slip, if you are employed, sometimes, but they need a 3 months bank, 3 months pay slip. So mele show ukuthi ama pay slips akho uyawabeka. So nje advisable kumuntu osebenzayo akawagcina ama pay slips akhe or awasave kwi-file ethize kwi-laptop yakhe, because if uvula ikweleti you will need your pay slips. and your pre-bond approval. So kubalulekile ukuthi uyenze pre-bond approval, but if awuyenzanga, it's fine, we can still assist and help you, but it makes life a little bit easy if you've got a pre-approval, because as suke sazi ukuthi okay approve for this amount of money, so sisuke sazi ukuthi kushuthi sokubhekela umuzi olaphi, and it give us kind of like an idea ukuthi sizokubhekela into kanjani. So a pre-approval iyenza izinto nje zithi ukuspeed up kancane process. So if you can come with it will be good and advisable, and kuzosiza nathi kakhulu. Then your bank statement. So obviously angisho ukuthi ningabhenki emaphilweni enu, kodwa it's advisable ukuthi ubhenke ebhenki where there will be like a traceable proof, where there will be like records of ama income akho nama expenditure akho, so lezo zinto zizoba ne proof ke. So a 3-month bank statement isiyadingeka. Then it says here an ITC check. Lapho ke njoba nazi ke that is a sensitive topic. ITC check uyacheckwa la kuma credit bureau ukuthi enene unjani wena iboletini zakho, because some people they are there kuma credit bureaus and sebe deep kuma debts. Not that siyathatha sithrowa outside the house, no, siyakusiza, kodwa ke kuyikuthi into yakho ithanda ukuba stiphunyana, because if kuma credit bureau, because we need to know a level of debt okuyona, and we need to know ukuthi how are we going to help you. If you need that assistance, you can get help. Not that if usukuma credit bureau you won't have a house, you'll still have a house, even though it will be a process, and the process may take very long or longer than expected, depending how deep are you in your debt. So nazo ke izinto ezidingekalayo. And then here it says the component within investing. Component within investing, I love this one. Ukuthi wenzani nakho ke usubile nazi izinto waqualifya, everything is going fine, you've got a plan, uzokwenzani ke ngaleyo property, like what are you going to do with it? Okay, kunezinto ke la I only jot down 4. So the first one, you can invest by flipping houses. Flipping houses is whereby you buy a house that is undervalued. So you buy it, you renovate it, you push it to be at the highest level value of the area. So kubalulekile kakhulu ukuthi before when the decision ukuthi you want to be a house flipper, when the research ukuthi uyayazi area ukuthi how much the area is worth, how much is the highest market price, how much is that house, and mase uyithengile le ndlu le uyithengile ohlala kuyo kufanele uyirenovate ne. So you need to have a budget yokuthi how much are you willing to spend, and will it be possible yini ukuthi if you spend this money izokwazi ukuphushela ivalue yalowo muzi to the highest peak of the area yakhona. So lapho, if you want to be a house flipper, before you buy, I would advise you to do a little bit of research with the area. So don't just go and say cheap and you go like buy, because sometimes you might buy and you think it's cheap, but meanwhile it is not cheap because of izinto eziwumonakalo edinga ukulungiswa. So before you make that decision, do a proper homework, do a proper research, and make a wise decision. And yeah, wise decisions are always the cleverest. So anyway, they say here, point number 2, leverage. By putting a large amount of deposit to reduce interest and installment. So obviously, if let's say you're buying a house and you're putting a large amount of deposits, it's like you are reducing your installment, your monthly installment, and you are reducing your interest, because siyazi ke sonke singalibalekele iqiniso ukuthi ibond it's like 20 years and above. And if I can make an example, if you have taken a bond ya 500,000, in a space of 20 years uzobe usukhokhe an estimation of maybe 3 million. So you don't want to spend that much. Well, don't quote me on that one. It's just an estimation calculation. So, but again, if you put a large amount of a deposit, and so that means it will just reduce your installment, your monthly installment, and it will reduce your interest. So, for example, it might even reduce it from paying back the 3 million. You might even pay back like 1.5, of which it's still a lot, but it's not as bad as ×2 of the amount. So you can do that. And the third point is you can buy a house, or you can buy a land, or you can buy a commercial area to be a landlord. And that is very nice. I, for one, I am the landlord. I am the Lady L. Well, guys, ngicela ukunifaka ke intweni kulento ke yokuba ulandlord. Yo iyastressana ne, but it's got ama rewards, because it's one kind of a job where owenzayo and owenza so passively, and the income that you get, it is so passive, like we call it a passive income. Because if you invested in a property, as much as there are some things like minor things that you do as a landlord, but they are not as major as the one that you do if you own another kind of a business. So you can just buy a house, make sure that that house has got enough land for you to add a cottage, and then you can rent out a cottage. That house can pay for its own bond. You see, that means you will be staying for free in your house, but the tenant will be paying your bond. Sometimes, in some cases, the tenant even give you some change, some pocket change. They pay your bond and they give you a little bit of some change. And then you can buy a land if you want. The land is very cheap. You can buy a land and you can build structures on that land, and then you can have the cottages, so people, they can rent. And in terms of being a landlord, you can buy the commercial areas. You know what I've seen with my eyes here in South Africa? There are places that they are rented out ngaboma 85,000 rand. It was a shock to me. It was like a shock to my system. They are in these areas, in high market areas, and they are commercial areas. If you can have like a house, or it's not even a house, it's like a room that you can rent it out for 85,000 rand a month, guys, I think that requires a lot of thinking. And you know what, I'm sharing this information with you guys because I love you and I care about you, and this information, they are hardly being shared. So you can just take a pause, think, and being a landlord, it's one of the most intelligent things you'd ever think of. Did you know, Guti, if you're a landlord, that can also increase your credit score? Like it takes your rental, the one that you receive, make sure that unama lease allow tenant now, because it gets ayabalwa a bank if you need like any loan, or if ufuna any form of a credit, they will ask for your lease agreement. So it does increase your credit score, and it does increase your income, your monthly income. So kuyasiza nje ukuba landlord in so many ways. So, and then another thing, it says you can join a group like the real estate group. There are a lot of them. I will not name one because you can also do the little bit of research and find out ukuthi imaphi ama real estate group ongawajoina. But there are a lot of property developers as now, even here in Pietermaritzburg, that you can just try and approach them, have a business proposal, and ask if you can join their groups. So you can do that, but make sure if you do those things, you do a proper homework, you do a proper research. Unga end up phela usujoyina nje into or fly by night kade sasiskenywa, guys. So we need to be careful. So anyway, this is the end of our show. I like this one. It says thank you for your enthusiasm. So siyabonga kakhulu ngokuthi nisilaleleke. This is Sis Enhle, the lady that thinks all things are property, and for real, it is a real estate. Let's talk property. Thank you.